What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Voice Visions Presents. We are back with DC the Prince. And today, man, I'm so excited to talk to you because you're going to kind of give us an insight on like an engineer and producer and all the things that you do.
Before anything, thank you for having me on here. Again, I know there's a short notice, but I really appreciate you and getting all these little people like myself our names out there like you do.
Yes, sir, man. That's definitely the goal. Tell me how you kind of got involved with music. Were you an artist as well?
This is all in my blood. My dad does music. My
Okay.
dad's side, like all of them are musically talented. Um, like even when I was little, I used to go to churches with him and stuff like that because he was always one of the worship leaders and stuff like that. And then
Awesome.
once my daughter was born, I'm like, I'm out the army. I'm getting a pension, so I don't really got to work odd jobs. I'm like, you know what? Let me work the dream that I really wanted to do. And I was like, you know what? I started looking at music
Mm.
schools. And I was like, all right, this is a perfect schedule for me. This is a perfect school to start. And I went from there.
That's always I guess, a debate with certain people. Like, is school right for you? Is college right for you? I mean, I have a background as well in college. How do you feel about that? Like, do people really need to be successful? Do you really need to go to college? Should you go to college? What's your take on that?
I got lucky, not really lucky, but I had my JAB bill. So I was able to pay for these schools and get the experience that I wanted from it. A lot of people didn't have that opportunity,
Okay.
you know? But if you have that opportunity, I will go just because the people that you network in there, you never know. And then on top of that, you
Mm.
will learn something new, especially if you've been struggling with stuff like me. I was struggling with EQs and like fixing certain vocals and like certain mixes. And then once I went to school, it was like, oh, it finally clicked, you know? And I still, even though I,
Awesome.
I don't go to school no more, I still do like the mix challenges and stuff like that. I'm constantly relearning new things. So even if you're doing it for free programs like Fix the Mix with masters, or you're actually going to school, you're gonna learn something. It's whatever your pockets can really afford.
So we'll dive a little bit deeper into the written portion of the interview. You had said, that sometimes you can get down or like maybe you face certain adversity. Like, how does music, I guess, help you get through those tough times?
Um, Me, I go and put like there's times where I don't want to feel like doing nothing. I don't want to even look
Right.
at my equipment. I don't want to look at my gear. I don't even want to hear music. But then those are the times that
Mm.
I'm like, you know what? Let me get up. Let me go do something. Because those are the times that you really need to work on something because something inside you is bothering you. You have to get it out some way, somehow. I go to therapy, you know, I'm a big advocate for it. Um, but this is also my therapy, you know, my music and everything. And then
Mm.
a lot of times my best music comes from times where I don't want to do nothing. You know, I'm pushing myself to get through it because something inside me is like, yo, you gotta get through this. If not, you're gonna stay in the funk and you're not gonna be able to work for the next like few days or the next few weeks. And then
Mhm.
you're like, damn, I had all that time, I didn't do nothing with it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get my lazy butt up or my downside, uh, my down. I don't really know how to say it, but down and out type
Yeah.
mindset and keep it going.
Mhm.
You know, because you never know that
Okay.
pain that you felt today can be the hit that you needed.
Now, you mentioned that one reason why you kind of do music and stuff like that is because sometimes you can't afford that one ticket to see the artist that you want to see, and so you want to that kind of motivates you, right, to work
Yep.
hard and to level up your game. What artists would you want to see, I guess, live?
I honestly, I'm highly upset I missed J. Cole's concert series. I can care less about Drake.
Okay, yeah, he
I've
was good.
been I've been to every J. Cole concert starting from For Your Eyes Only. And I bought my ticket for
Wow.
that one right before I got out the military as like a present to myself. And I got floor seats. So that's
Oh
one of the
wow.
other reasons I started music also, because I've always been into music. I just been afraid to do it. So when I went to that concert series, I was like, this energy is insane. I want this. So every time I go and see he has a concert series, some way, somehow, I make it work and get to go in. But this time, these tickets are $500-$600 just for nosebleeds. I'm like, not gonna make it. So my goal always has been my face and name was supposed to be big enough so that way if I want to get to a concert series, all I gotta do is make a phone call or be like, hey, I'm on my way. Or just show up to a place and be like, oh, he's
Right.
good. Let's go. That's what I want. That's my goal. I can care less
Awesome.
about being rich, famous like that. I just want that because I'm tired of missing concerts there. Because that's my energy. That's where I get a lot of my inspirations, a lot of my energy. Like, ooh, I want this. I'm ready to go. Like that.
You mentioned too your inspirations, like obviously your kids. Tell me like a little bit, like I guess has your mind, has your life? I mean, I'm sure your life has changed with having kids around. Like as an artist, as a parent, like tell me a little bit about that switch. Does it maybe make you want to work that much harder to support them and stuff like that?
I want my kids to grow up with stuff that, like every parent, well, we didn't have, including I have two parents that worked extremely hard my whole life, and then once I hit 20, 21, they started losing what they were trying to build. I don't want to my kids go through that
Mhm.
ever. So
Of
the
course.
harder I work, the more I know, like, hey, if I work hard now, my kids don't have to worry about nothing, you know? I don't have to be like, let's see if we can do this or that. I want it so that way I work hard enough. So if I swipe, I ain't got to worry about, is this going to be paid off, this and that. That's my main goal with my kids. And then get them into a position, just like every other parent. Every other parent, if you really talk to them, they want to get their kids to a point where they're successful, put them in their lane. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm trying to bring my name up so that way doors will be open for them. Because my daughter
Right.
loves to sing, she loves to dance. My youngest son, who's 2, he damn near what's that called? Pitch perfect in his ear. And he's only 2. He goes into the drums, he
Mm,
start playing stuff like that.
wow.
So I know they're gonna take it bigger than I am.
Wow.
So let me be the stepping stone. So that way they're like, okay, they're good to go.
Now we're starting to wrap things up. I know that you mentioned in the written portion of the interview, you said that you have a song that you're mixing, that you're working on right now, that's going to be released, I think, in April, right?
April 30th.
What's the song about? Who's on it? What was the inspiration behind it?
So one interview I did, I linked up this guy called It's Your Flow. He's a Christian rapper here in Orlando. We started talking and then we created a song called Faith Walk. And the beat is pretty dope. Like it's like marching band style combined with what's his face? Oh, Kurt Franklin.
I like that.
So he's talking
Nice.
about pretty much keeping your faith in God and make sure that no matter how bad things get, you always have to have faith in Him, so that way He can keep guiding you through. And he started going in with examples of all the disciples and all the characters in the Bible. It's like, oh, they kept their faith, and look how well they did, you know. And it's wild
That's
because
amazing.
I have faith tatted on my
Nice.
arm
Okay.
before he even came up with the concept. I had my hoodie on like always. He goes, bro, I'm gonna make this called Faith Walk, this and that. He started telling me, and I pulled up my sleeve. I'm like, it's faith. So
Awesome.
it's like a nice little
No,
dance to it, a little bop to it. So that way, when you're listening to it, you're just not listening to it. You're enjoying it. You can do little moves to it. You can go from there. It's super nice.
what is one trend you're seeing in music right now? It could be any type of music that you absolutely hate, like it grinds your gears, like you can't stand it. What's one trend out there right now in popular music that's like whack?
To be honest, it's all the sexy reds.
Okay, okay, I respect that.
Like I
There's too
don't.
many, right?
It's. I get it. Women are allowed to express their bodies, how they take care of it, whatnot, this and that. But now that I have kids in the car, I'm like, I can't even put her on the radio at all. And like that one Drake song that he had, man, that's a
Yeah.
dope beat, but I can't play it because of Sexy Red.
So we'll get to the last question. And you can also give any shout outs at the end of the interview if you want to. But the last question was, what kind of advice would you give for like a young creator?
Find your own sound. You know, it's good to they always say the best type of flattery is imitation, you know, but you also have to figure out your own sound. So that way, when you start making your own sound, people are like, yo, who made this? Who made that? This and that. Like, I did not know Twins from Big Pun and Fat Joe was actually produced by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Instead of imitating, I look up the credits and I'm like, who made this? And I figure out who they are, how they did it, and stuff like that. I'm like, how can I flip it to make it my sound? That's the main thing that people need to get. Because if you're sounding like everybody else, you're not going to be able to stand out and be like, okay, if I can get if you're making the exact same sound as this person, why can't I just pay this person and do a lot less? You know, because labels are cheap. They're gonna find, just like the military, they're gonna find the cheapest person to do their job, and then once they're done, they're done. So if you really want to put an impact and actually make something about yourself, you got to make your own sound.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. Any shout outs you want to give, maybe your family or like friends or other artists, maybe other producers? What kind of shout outs you want to give at the end of this interview?
Shout out to all my family, my wife, my kids, Janelle, Nehemiah, Leilani, and Elias, my parents. Artist wise, yeah, and my friends, Siobhan and Michelle. Artist wise, Big Trap X, he's out in Virginia. Jimmy G, he's out in Boston. Who else? Nap 914, he's out in New York. Who else? It's Show Flow, I already mentioned him. I got another artist that I'm working with. We're trying to shoot for like August to do his actual EP. I'm not gonna say nothing yet, just because I wanted to make sure everything's good to go.
Of course.
But I got a few more people that I want to work with. Kid Pro, you know. Yeah. If I forget you, I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Thank you so much, DC the Prince.